Yes, yes, yes. We are back.
What?
How you
Yes.
doing?
Hi,
We're back
I'm Francesca.
with a very, very special How to Start. I'm Brad Grunberg.
Very excited to have Jeff here today, Brad's friend. Brad, do you want to, I guess, tell us all who Jeff Ezell is? Or
Yes, Jeff Ezell
Yes.
has been a friend for decades. He is a very, very, very funny guy and also a very good magician and just a great filmmaker. And he also has a side hustle. He works at a very renowned Jeep dealership in Buena Park. But the most important thing is that he is healthy now. Last time we had him on, he was fighting cancer and going through excruciating treatments and all sorts of stuff. And Jeff, thank you so much. You look so good. I am so happy that you are. Look at this. Look at that punum. Oh, so handsome. Tell us how you are. Tell us where you've been, where you're going, and where you're landing. Tell us all the soup to nuts. What's going on in your life and how you feeling, please.
My bro and my sister, what's happening? I'm so happy to see you guys again. You have no idea. I mean, since last time we spoke, I mean, the things that I've been just dealing with have been just crazy. I think the last time we spoke, I had already had the surgery, which is good. And then I was going through all the chemos again after that. And the chemo is probably, in my opinion, one of the rougher rides. Surgery was no, joyride.
For our new viewers, can you tell us the surgery you had, please?
Oh, yeah. Just for the new viewers, real quick, a quick recap. 2 years ago, colon cancer. Got about 12 inches of the colon removed then. A year later, the cancer returned. Some of the cells traveled to the liver, to the lungs, and the kidney. I wonder why it went so far. Is probably because I'm an overachiever. I wanted as much as I could get. Not really. No. But so the largest parts of it went to the liver, and we did a surgery in June. First, we did chemotherapy up until June to hopefully shrink some of the stuff that was there. And then we removed the left side of the liver and scooped out some parts of the right side where some like little bitty spots stuck in there. The really cool part about the liver is a lot of it will grow back. Like if they cut out the left side doesn't grow back. The right side just grows bigger. So you have still more liver if you like that, I guess. But that's what the surgery was. The surgery was to remove the liver, remove the cancer, and leave me with just enough so I could still operate without getting a transplant. And it worked, I believe. So right after that, with the chemotherapy for the rest of the year, from June basically, until my last one was near the end of October. And it was very aggressive, very aggressive. I'd be in the chair for 9, 10, 11 hours, with different drip, this, drip, that, drip. I'm like, okay, just whatever you got to give me, I'll take care of it. And lo and behold, here I am a year later, and the doctor literally told me, if I could tell you like this, he said, on my last meeting here, there's nothing more we can do. There's nothing more we can help you with. We cannot do radiation anymore. No more chemotherapy will help you because we can't find anything else. And that was the whole deal. When I found out that they couldn't find anything else, that was just like, that was an explosion of happiness. And I was just so happy. You have no idea. It was just insane. And then, excuse me. And then my wife getting her remission statement just a few weeks prior was just icing on the whole thing. Once she got hers, it's like, I got to get mine now. So that's in a nutshell, basically the road that we've been traveling.
Jeff, you're an amazing guy. You did a lot of it with humor. I saw your posts, all your stuff. You laughed. You just laughed and kept laughing. And it was just so brave. What a way. I mean, a lot of people, get a diagnosis and some of them climb under the bed. Some of them do things that are unconventional. Some of them, laugh, and you did, and it worked for you. And and I was praying for you, and Lauren was, we all were. We need you, and I'm so happy for this day.
And I love you guys. You have no idea.
But your Instagram post scared me because I was reading it. I'm like, oh no. I was like,
right.
How the delivery. I was terrified. And when I read the end of it, I was like, oh my God, thank God. I was like,
and a lot of I have some, a lot of friends who are in the biz, acting and things like that, and they'll message me privately, and they'll call me names, number one, after reading that. And some are like, you should be like a horror writer because you had me going the whole way, and there was a roller coaster. And it's like, I wrote it that way intentionally because that's in my blood a little bit. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a ride that gave you such a great ending that would make the middle not so bad.
You did that,
and it was fun to write, but it was, I kept it was still a short post, but it had a lot of up and dips and valleys, and it was good. It was
great.
A good post, I thought.
Great, one of your best. It was wonderful. So what happens now? You go back to your life. How do you look at life now that you went through this this horrible, treatment and ups, downs, and just everything?
It's a really good question, Brad. It really is, and I'm really glad you asked that because the way you see things is just through new eyes. I mean, it's not that you see things a lot differently, but you see things differently, if that makes any sense at all. I have a different appreciation for life because literally, what I didn't tell you is on the surgery table, I had lost so much blood on the table that you were going down to organ failure. Everything was just going, right? But I had a good surgical team who was already prepared for that. And they were already having all the extra blood on the side just in case that happened for me because they knew my situation. They took good care of me. They did really, really well. I could have been dead, but I think I fight too much. I'm too stubborn. I don't know what the right word is, but I'm just too much of it. It's not my time.
You're Jeff Spicoli. Yeah. You just squeaked by.
Yeah. It's not my time.
Jeff, how did you pick your doctors? How did you find your team?
That's also a good question. And here's what happened. I was with one hospital when I had my initial colon cancer. I was with one hospital, and they did the surgery for me, and they handled it, I thought, really, really well. Let me give them kudos for that big time because I went in just for a regular checkup, basically. And it was that time of life. I was 50 years old, and to go do your colonoscopy. And they didn't let me leave the hospital. They said they found something and I needed emergency surgery immediately. Did not leave the hospital. Had surgery within a couple of days. They removed about 12 inches of the colon at that time. And after that, I met my surgeons. They were great. I loved them. But there was no after treatment on that one because they didn't believe. They said, you know what? We think you're good. We think we got everything. Go about your business, right? A year later, because you get blood tests every 3 months just to check yourself up. And the last blood test I got showed that I had tumor markers that went off the chart. And so, of course, everybody got worried, including me, of course. And I would call the office and I would leave them messages, try and get a hold of somebody, and I wouldn't get return calls. And all I kept thinking was, this is my life. I can't get a return call from my doctor or his office. So I would drive to the office and I would talk to them there. And I would tell them, I said, I left a message 4 or 5 times already for a week. And they said, this is literally what they told me. We have a new phone system. Please excuse us while we try to learn the new system. I don't have time for your new system.
Wow.
I have to worry about my life at this point. If every time I call you, it's about your new phone system and not somebody's lives, that's not going to work for me. I immediately switched entire group at that point. And I chose the new group specifically because it's the same group my wife was going through. and they treated her so well. They did so good with her. And, you know, I just liked the way everything was being done. They were super proactive about everything. So I went to the new group, and immediately they just jumped on everything, and I had things just going clockwork. Boom, 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 boom. They set up the chemos. They set up the surgery dates. They set up the immediate meetings with the surgeons, and everybody was very active. And the really nice thing that I liked is they were kind of all in one place. They were all together. So I didn't have to go to several different places to get it done. And they were just really, really good people. And you could feel it from all the nurse staff, the doctors, the surgeons, the front desk, everybody. Everybody seemed to have some sort of skin in the game to where they cared. It seemed more than you would expect from a doctor's office or a hospital or something of that sort, you know. But it was just so awesome, just the way I felt going through their system.
I don't know about your spirituality, but I really believe you're telling the story, Jeff, that everything happened at the first place to get you to the second place and save your life. There's no question about it. And you were
agree with that.
Right? And
100% 100% with you on that, Brad.
You're like your own doctor. You've got to be proactive. They're worried about an effing phone system.
Yeah, it really was strictly the phone system, and they kept saying, "Oh, our phone system," you know.
What does that
I said,
mean?
"Well, let me tell you something about the phone system."
But again, you give them props for what they did to lead you to where you were to save your life.
Absolutely, I did. You know, huge props to them when they started off. It was their phone system that took them down, not themselves as people, because they're still probably great doctors. Everything that doesn't change. Their phone system took them down.
Exactly, and moved you where you needed to be. I love that.
And you're right. You're right, 100%. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and I was guided towards.
Do you sweat the small? I mean, you know, everybody. It's all cliche. Don't sweat the small stuff. How do you look at things now when things maybe don't go your way with this or that? Do you think on the grand scale of what you went through, like, this is nothing? I'll wait.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. You know, you've known me for a really long time, Brad. And I think that as long as you know me, I've always seemed to be a pretty level person. You know, I have a lot of fun. I enjoy laughing. I enjoy going out with friends. If you go out and have a nice meal.
Wait a minute. You have friends? I did not know that. Oh my God! Look at this! I love that. Look at that.
We're frozen. Sorry. I'm teasing.
You got a lot of love. You got a lot of friends.
Yeah, but I say, you know, staying somewhat level is really important. You know, you don't have to. You can get ultra excited about something in a bad way. If a bad situation comes up, you can really let it take you up as many notches as you want. But it goes back to, you have to let it take you up there. If you want it to go, you're going to go. Your whole head's going to blow up. But there's no reason, because your head blowing up isn't going to change what's really going to happen in the outcome.
Like, don't get too high with the highs and too low with the lows.
Stay somewhat calm, assess the situation, and just go for it. You know.
How did you handle taking the test? Like, I know you said stay level-headed, but do you get nervous? Like, do you know?
I do. Oh yeah, I do. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't get nervous when I took the test. I'd be lying to you if I said if I didn't get a little bit into my head when I knew these tests were coming up or the scans were coming up. And I could tell you, partly is I don't really care for needles. Let's be honest. But I know that's coming, so I just have to prepare myself to get through that part. That's probably the toughest part for me. But knowing not knowing what the result is going to be as you're going through it, until of course it all comes to fruition, is the stressful part, because you just don't know what the test is going to show. until the doctors look at it. Somebody told me, they said, like I'll get a message from somebody and they say, hey, you should try this and do this and go this route. And I asked them, I go, where did you get your doctor's degree from? I need to know so I can really check you out and see what you got there. Oh, no, I'm just so-and-so. I'm like, well, that doesn't work for me. You know, I thought it was very important to listen to the doctors. Very important because they studied for that. If you want to know how to buy a car, I could take you through step A to Z. If you want to know how to do a magic trick, I could walk you through how to do it because I believe I'm really good at that. But if you want me to tell you how to cure cancer, or not necessarily cure it, but make somebody better from it, I have no idea. I got to listen to the people that studied it.
Who know and see it every day By the way, another team member right there in Lauren's arms is a cancer survivor too, Georgie.
Hey, Georgie. What's up?
This dog is the $6 million dog. Has been through so much, has lived through love of his mother. That Lauren right there is it's a movie that you will see one day. Their journey together, by the way. So
that's so sweet.
Oh, it's unbelievable. She takes such good catcher. That's her son right there, Georgie.
What a good baby right there.
I know. Yes. I know. Now you have two sons. Is that true? You have two grown sons?
Yes, I still have two sons, and they haven't changed much since They remain the sons of the family. One's 28, one's 21. The other one just turned 21. So he's totally legal to go out and celebrate his life if he wants to, but he's not ready to yet.
How did they handle it? How did they handle mom and dad cancer?
Here's the 28-year-old, he's doing fine. He's out of the house, been out for quite a while, doing his thing, traveling across the country. But the 21-year-old, honestly, I could tell he was taking it really difficult. And I don't know what the best way to put it is, but I could tell. You're a parent, He lives with us, and he wants to be around just to make sure he could try to take care of us. Because if your mom and your dad, and you're like the youngest there, and you're the last one to leave the house, but all you're seeing is your parents growing up, is they were sick with cancer. That's stressful. Yeah. That's stressful on a kid. He doesn't know what to do. A kid doesn't know how to handle that. That's not what they're growing up to learn. But he was kind of just pushed into that situation because he's a kid and he lives here with us. So I could say that he was very, very, very stressed. And to the point, and I haven't told anybody this, I don't think, that he just went silent at some point. And what I mean by that is he wouldn't even talk anymore. He wouldn't talk to us, not in a bad way, not ignoring, but he just totally drew in everything. He wouldn't talk to his friends online because we used to hear him in his room laughing and talking with his friends. Silence. Wow. He'd come out and talk with us. Silence. Nothing. You want to order food, he'd write it down for us.
Wow.
Wow. And when I told him, first his mom got her all clear. And then when I told him that I got my all clear, I could feel the relief because he got up and he gave me such a big hug, and it's not one of those hugs where you're like, hey man, how you doing? Good, right? He wouldn't let go. You know what I mean? He was just holding and just happy. And you could tell. It wasn't like there was a big like sob or anything like that. It was just like you could tell, you could feel it.
No words had to be said. Just
none.
That touch. You could tell.
And within 2 days after that, he started talking again. And and like nothing happened. But I could tell that had something to do with it. The relief that he must have felt, because you read in my post 2 weeks earlier, I had the initial scan, And if we went strictly by what that scan said, you and I wouldn't be talking today, because I'd be back in some deep treatment fast, because the initial scan, the way it looked was that the cancer spread and was in more places than it was before. I was freaked out. I'm not the doctor. I didn't get to see the visuals. I only got to read the words. And I always tell people, I said, I know how to read. I know what I'm reading. I know exactly what it says. And I know what that means, or what that would mean for my life at that point. And I had to shut my computer. And I said, I even posted, I'm just going to go for a long walk. I just need to go take a walk, because at that point, I didn't know where my life was going to go. I didn't know how much more life I might have even had at that point, right? And can you imagine just living your life and having these thoughts in your head at this age? I mean, this is not things we should be thinking about, worrying about, right? So going to get that nuclear scan was what really cleared it up, and what really helped even the doctors see, because
What's the
what
difference? What's the difference of those scans?
Okay. The difference between the scan is, the first one is like a contrast. Picture it just showing you black and white. A black spot, say for instance, could be cancer, a white spot could be not be cancer, or a white spot could be cancer and a black spot could be clear, whatever it be, right? The PET CT is basically radioactive, and they inject you with this radioactive solution, and that sticks to cancer cells and glows. So when you do a scan, then you see all these glowing spots. So the purpose was, they saw the first scan and all those spots where they said they believe the cancer traveled to and is growing. They inject me with radioactive stuff, and the report comes back. And I can look at the reports in my medical back office file. So I see them same time the doctors do, except I don't see the visuals of the scan. I just see the words. So I can read the words, and and I understand the words. But I didn't understand this one, because it wasn't showing anything. I said, well, maybe I just don't know what I'm reading on this one. So I waited for the doctor. And he thought it was so important to call me because there was nothing to find. It didn't stick to anything. There was zero glowing, nothing. And you can imagine my relief going from 2 weeks ago, not knowing what was going to happen in life, to now all full of life, right? You got another chance. You have more life. You get to go out there and you get to live. You get to be with your family, and you get to do these things that you weren't sure 2 weeks ago what you were going to get to do. But now, boom, here we are.
Do you have any advice for people who may be going through the same situation?
Yeah, it's tough as hell. And that's not the advice, by the way. I have people in my family that work in cancer medicine. They didn't have anything to do with my treatment or anything like that, because I wasn't going to their hospital. They lived too far away, et cetera, right? But the one thing that they said to me, which holds true, and I believe it 100%, is attitude. The right attitude can help your game. They said they've seen people who have a shot, who can make it, but their attitude was so in the dirt that they didn't. And then they saw people who shouldn't necessarily have made it, but the attitude got them out of the dirt, and they made it, lived a little bit longer, whatever it'll be, right? Attitude. There's enough negative stuff in the world. I don't need to put out more of it. So I chose to put out a lot of fun and positive, crazy stuff. I made fun of my chemo. I made fun of my reactions to chemo, and there were some pretty nasty ones, some pretty nasty reactions. And I made jokes about them, and I made video jokes about them, making fun of myself. I would post things.
You'd be dancing. I saw you dancing.
Yeah. I even had dancing ones. I had ones where I woke up one day and it looked like I was shot in the head. Did you ever see that picture, Brad? If you didn't, I'm going to send it to you. But
oh yeah,
I
did.
On my pillow, there was just blood. On my face, blood, right?
Yeah.
And it was from the chemo. It was one of the side effects. And I know that was going to happen. But it just looked so crazy that I had to take a picture of it. Right. And then, as crazy as I am, of course, I shared it. Other people said, I would have never shared that. I'm like, yeah, why not? So what? I'm documenting it because one day, you never know. I may pull it. I may, just put it all together and make a small little film out of it. Who knows? But
yeah, I really think your calling be a motivational speaker. I mean, when you speak, people listen, and you're just so. I mean, you have this originality to you, and this bravery, and your humor, just everything about you is just people, want to listen to you and want to hear your story. And I think, another back to that spiritual thing, maybe in a weird sort of way, you got cancer to help others, to believe that if you got through it, they could get through it. If you help one person, you save their life. And I know you have. I know by this.
I have to believe on the same level that you're thinking there, Brad, because I get so many messages of people who will say your positivity or your influence or the way you look at stuff is so inspiring. We can't wait to see your next post because we want to know what's going on with you.
Right.
Even in the bad news, even on the bad days, I tell people, I can't be positive all the time. It's impossible. I go, I have bad times. I go, but I hardly ever post about it. I go, because I keep them in moments. I don't let it take up my whole day. I take that bad moment, I have it, and then I move on.
Yeah.
Because you gotta.
Lauren, I'm going to share this with you. One thing that Jeff and I had spoke about is a lot of people didn't call him because they were scared to call him.
Yeah.
Not that they're bad people, they're great people, but they didn't want to bother you. They didn't want to hear what, they felt uncomfortable. And you
didn't know what to say.
encouraged them to call you. And I called you. I should have called you more, but I called you because I love you. And you want to hear people's voices. You want them to read it, right? And can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, when you get sick.
Yeah, it was really strange. It's funny. I went and got a haircut earlier, right? And the lady cutting my hair was asking me almost the same thing that you're asking me right there about people keeping in contact with you. I said, quite honestly, a lot of people didn't keep in contact. And I go, and it's not a bad thing. It's that they didn't know how. Some people process it differently, and they don't know how to handle it. Your friend could be potentially dying, or your friend could be potentially living, but you don't really want to know. You're like, I just want to see them happy. And, they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to feel. And it's awkward as hell, honestly. It's awkward. But so they don't call. And then one day they do reach out and they said, I just haven't called me because I just don't know what to say or do. I was like, don't worry. Because they think they're bothering me. They're like, oh, we don't know if you're sick, if you're in chemo, if you don't feel like talking. And I tell them, I said, just text me, leave me a voicemail, whatever. I go, if I am not feeling good, I probably won't answer the phone. I go, but I'll listen to your message with a big ass smile on my face. So happy. And then I will call you back because I've always called Brad back for sure. And but it's part of it. It's just people will process things differently, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with not knowing what to do when your friend is going through that. though I wrote something one time that I thought was, it was tongue in cheek a bit, but it was also kind of funny. I thought the most popular phrase or wording that's been put together on a post is the one that people will say to you, and it's 3 words: "You got this." And I heard that so much. People message me, "You got this, you got this, you got this." And I appreciate the encouragement. And I know where that comes from. It comes from a really good place. But I heard it so much, I had to think of something funny to do with it. So I told them one day, I says, "I know I got this. I just don't want it anymore." I go, "Is there a return limit? Is there a 30-day thing that I can just give it back? Can I exchange it for something nicer? I don't want it anymore. I got it. I know. I feel it." Is there a time frame where I can say I cannot give it back anymore? But I have fun with it. But
now I'm so impressed that you and your wife both beat it. Is there any other, like, did you guys take vitamins, or did the doctors tell you listening to music? Any kind of other thing that you could share with us about your journey?
Conventional, unconventional, yeah.
A lot of people will offer up a lot of unconventional things, and it's not that one thing is good or one thing is bad. I just don't know enough about medicine to trust a Facebook doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what that is? Where somebody says, "Oh yeah, I've researched it." Okay, no problem. I appreciate it. I really do. The only thing I did was I continued to take my vitamins that I was taking prior. I showed the doctor, said, "Here's exactly what I'm taking. Is this still okay to take?" He said, "Yes." And I always thought it would be weird if a doctor told you you could not take vitamins. No, let's just keep giving this poison. Don't worry about the vitamins. No. But they said, "Go ahead and keep taking that." I said, "Should I change anything in my diet?" I go, because I'm offering up stuff. I'm like, "Here, what can I do? I have goals. I still need to get back on stage, right? I have a lot of magical things to do in life, but I can't do it if I'm 6 feet under. So I need you, doc, to tell me and guide me. What do I need to do to make this all good? And I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to do what you say to do." And you know why? Because it's part duplication. If you want what they got, you got to do what they do.
I totally
do what
agree.
they say to do. And those are the doctors. Yeah. They're the ones who went to the school for it. They're the ones who know. So I'm going to listen to them. I didn't do anything off the chart. I didn't. Off the side, nothing. I didn't do anything different than what they told me I could or could not do. Just because I don't know any different.
On a happier note, what happens with Jeff Ezell now? Life tomorrow. What are you doing tomorrow? Yeah. What are you doing in a month? What are your plans? I mean, you probably live one day at a time, but beside that, what's your future look like for you?
Well, right now I have. I was so happy to get a return to life slip from my doctor. Basically says you can go back to work, go back to do whatever you want to do. So I've already turned that in. That's good. I've already got an open invite to bring my show back to Vegas anytime I want.
All right.
So there's a theater there that is already saying, "Here, we have the space for you. If you want to come tomorrow, you're on." I said, I need a little bit more than tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, I feel good, but there's times where I'm still short of breath. I just want to make sure I'm good and not just like on stage doing, "Hey, da, 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 da." Be out of breath. You know what I mean? I want to be good. I want to be good up there. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this back, get back to the cardio portion to where I can get enough air continually going. And I will be back on the stage in Vegas probably within the next couple months.
That's wonderful.
So we'll have that going on for sure.
Well,
and then, of course,
definitely want to get you back on when you get your show, the announcement of your show. I want to hear all about that.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's with one of my really great friends who's been a magician out in Vegas for a long time. And this is a guy who's he's built stuff for Copperfield. He's he's known all over the world in the magic community, but not necessarily in the public. But you see the guy's show, you never ever will forget it. I promise you that.
Who is this guy?
His name is Lo Sander.
Oh.
And he's out of Germany, but he's been in the USA for 20 plus years, and we became friends on accident. But sometimes those are some of the best friends you make. And we just stayed friends all these years, and we're the same age. We're the same, I don't know, a lot of things are so much alike. We just became really, really good friends.
That's wonderful.
And he just does really well. He has a great time. He has fun like I like to have fun with magic.
You're so good at it. You're so good at everything you do. Jeff, I tell you, I was going to ask you a question. We always ask our guests, but you know what? I just want to end on this note because you just touched my life in so many ways. I know you've touched our audience. Lauren wants to ask you, how can people get a hold of you? How can they see you in Vegas and all that good stuff? Okay, really easy. Follow me on my website, which is jeffezell.com. I have Instagram, which is Jeff Ezell Magician. Then I have TikTok, Jeff Ezell Magic Video, and you can see all my stuff and follow me there. And you can also email me at jeffezellmagic@yahoo.com. I'm all over the place. Okay.
I'm gonna wait. Hold on.
Easy. There he is.
Is that how you?
Boom.
Oh, there it is. Wonderful. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. That's great.
Awesome.
Jeff, thank you so much. Good health, happiness for you and your family, your beautiful wife. You're going to be with us for a long, long time, my buddy. And I'm just so touched and grateful to have this wonderful friendship with you. And Lauren's now a huge fan of yours. We always talk about you. Continue happiness, health, and success, buddy. And oh yeah, we will have you back on the show soon. And again, this is by the way, this is lucky show number 73.
Wow.
Yes, what?
73, yes. And I'm Brad Grunberg. And
I'm Lauren Francesca.
And
I'm Jeff.
Jeff Ezell. We'll see you next time on How to Start. Thanks, Jeff.
Bye, guys.
We love you.
Peace.
Peace. Yeah, baby.